Welcome back to another YouTube video, people. I just want to say a huge thanks to everyone who showed support in the first video. It means the world, and it excites me even more to bring you along on this journey. Today I'm just going to give you a quick update with the S5. Now, not much has changed with it. We've picked up a few bits and pieces. I actually struggle to find one of these. It is quite hard to tell, but that's how it's essentially going to be looking there. I think it'll look pretty cool. A few silly bits and pieces like some badges, but I don't know. I think I kind of like the red badge over the black. Yeah, the black's cool. I don't know. Yes, I think against black the red will look better, but there might be a change of plan. Dent devils out. There was a couple of dents.
You can sort of try the glue or properly and
That's it done?
no, that's the downside to glue. It's pulling a little bit of the paint off.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I think it's actually taking a bit of lacquer as well.
Yeah. That we were able to get out no problem. And there was a slight one here as well, and it's gone. And then there was quite a big one here. Now, it didn't really go to plan. Now, it definitely looks a lot better. It's improved it. However, we end up having to use the glue. So it ended up like there was a wee bit of paint that was chipping. We thought it would have been grand, but it did end up pulling the paint. Not massively concerned though, or potentially opting for wrapping the car a different colour. So we'd be able to just fill that small mark in and then just wrap over it. The dog's just chilling. Hello, Lexi. Hello. Speak. 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 This is actually another wee car that I have for sale. It's a 2014 Audi A1 1.6 TDI style edition. So you've got the red, and then it's like a two-tone. So you've got the red and then the black around the windows and the roof, which looks really, really nice. It's a cool looking motor. Then obviously you've got your full LED bi-xenon headlights. Car spotless, it needs absolutely nothing. It's had its major service there, and I've done the time belt and water pump. It is absolutely spotless. Some brand new mats in there as well. There is only 71,000 miles on it. Absolutely mint condition. You know anyone at all who's interested or who might be interested, drop me a message or give me a shout. So the car is available and ready to go. Fit change, went for a Sun and Steam there, and we are now back in the S5. It needs a bit of petrol, so we're going to go to the shop and see how much it takes to fill it. I'm imagining in something like this it's probably going to cost in the region of 80-90 quid, but we'll find out. So we just went with, don't know if you can see that, just went with 60. Let's see where it's brought us to on the dial. Nearly, probably about 65 or 70 quid, but it's not how much it costs you, it's how quickly you can go through the tank. And I can tell you now that this is going to go through a tank pretty quickly. So we've got the passenger princess with us here today. Cruising around, sleeping as per usual. So, haven't really drove this car a whole pile, but you know, when I do drive it, it makes me smile. The noise of that V8 is just, it's insane. But I mean, so far it's driving pretty well. Just a couple of things that I'm going to be doing to the car is just making sure that it is mechanically sound. We obviously want to sort that first, just to make sure that everything is perfect. Now, there is quite a bit of history with this car. I believe the clutch and flywheel was done about 15,000 miles ago. So that's obviously a big cost. Complete. Of course, we want to make sure that the car is mechanically sound first, because what's a set of wheels or a set of side skirts going to do if the car is not mechanically sound? Now, to be fair, like I said, there is plenty of history with the car and it is driving pretty well, but we obviously just want to make sure that everything is all sweet on it. So I'm in two minds. Obviously, we are going to make some cosmetic changes, probably quite a few more than what I had initially planned. I think initially whenever I done this, or I purchased it, it was going to be just, you know, a few small things just to tidy it up, and then obviously to set it on. But the more I get into it, I'm thinking we're going to make a full series out of this. We're going to take you guys along on the journey of exactly what we do. Hopefully doing, you know, quite a bit of work with myself. I'm going to try. I'm not a mechanic. I did do like 2 years of mechanicing before, so I'm not completely stupid with it, but I'm certainly not a fully qualified mechanic, and I'm definitely rusty. So it'll be quite fun. It'll be fun to bring us along and see what we can do ourselves. I have a rough idea that I'll run you through, and you know, feel free to drop some comments, drop some ideas on what you think I should do. Now, I know there was a couple of comments on the last YouTube video stating that I should just put it back to standard. People didn't like the side skirts and all, and I'm inclined to agree, because you know, I don't really, looking at it from here, it's not bad. I think it suits the setup that's currently on it, but for me personally, the front splitter is brutal, the side skirts are brutal, wheels are brutal, rear spoiler is also brutal. I do kind of like the exhaust, if I'm honest. I do think they're a bit different looking. Firstly, we're going to paint this the same colour as the car, or just gloss black, because obviously I said at the start of the video we are most likely going to be wrapping the car. Going to remove this and going to get another ducktail spoiler, but something a bit nicer than that. I just don't really like that one, and the fitment of it really isn't good. Then obviously I showed you the roof spoiler that we're going to do. These side skirts, I was going to keep them originally and just paint them the same colour as the car, but I think what we're going to do now is we're going to actually take them off, and we're going to replace them with new ones. I believe these are Rieger, so we're going to replace them. Rieger have like another type of one, it's a wee bit more subtle. And then up front, I originally was just going to paint this the same colour as the car, but I think what I'm actually going to do is I'm actually going to replace the full front bumper and put an RS5 style front bumper on. I know a lot of you aren't going to like that, and you're going to be like, it's an S5, it's not an RS5. I'm not going the full hog, I'm not doing the RS5 back bumper, because I mean, I think we can make the rear diffuser work, and I quite like the exhaust tips, if I'm honest. They're not bad, they're different, but I do think the RS5 front bumper will just kind of spice up the front a wee bit. And the new side skirts that I'm looking at, it kind of works sort of hand in hand with it. In terms of suspension, I did originally think that the car was on coilovers, but it's not. And I've just realised as well that there's like looks like there's a 28mm spacer on the front, which explains why the front wheels are so wide. I do actually like a concave wheel. Like, I do think a concave wheel looks well on those. It just kind of makes it look a wee bit beefier. But what's going to be the most drastic change is the colour change that we're going to wrap this car. I'm not sure on a colour, but I'm sort of steering towards satin grey. I've always loved a satin grey wrap. And I know some people say, oh, that's boring. If you're going to wrap a car, you may as well wrap it really a colourful colour. But what you got to remember too is that there is bright red leather interior in here. So I think if you were to wrap this like a really, really bright colour, it's just going to be too much of a contrast. I think if you imagine a satin grey, I was kind of imagining it actually keeping these trims, but I think whenever I would get into it and I would start wrapping it, I think these trims are going to have to go black and these mirrors are going to go black. I think it would work really, really well. Or we could go with like a brighter version and have silver wheels, satin grey car, silver window surrounds and silver mirrors. I think that would work really, really well with the red. You know, I've never wrapped a car before in my life, and I do think, I don't know if I would have the patience for it, but I'd be interested to see how good of a job I could actually do. But my girlfriend believes that she will be able to wrap a car no problem. She's the sort of person that she'll look at a skill like someone plastering a wall or someone painting a car or something, and she'll be like, oh, that looks easy, I think I can do that. But you know what, I think she'd give it a good stab. She's got a pretty steady hand and she's pretty tidy with things like that. But you know, it could be a different story whenever we get into it and we start it. You're going to have to subscribe and stay tuned so you don't miss out on that wrapping episode vlog, which it's going to be a good one. I know what he's all waiting for. Some sound clips and some drive-bys. Let's go. Welcome to Mexico. What do you think, Lexi? Do you think it sounds well? Does it sound well? We all know it sounds good. It's just that V8, it's fucking cracking. It's unreal. I'm still yet to see, because obviously I haven't had the car in the ramp or anything, to see what is actually done to it. It does look like a different exhaust. Let me show you. So obviously you can see here, the exhaust actually is attached to the back boxes. I don't know if those are standard back boxes or not. And then obviously you can see the pipe. And if we zoom in and look on down, I don't know if you can see that far, but hang on. You can see we do still have two smaller back boxes further on up. As standard, they are quite quiet and quite reserved. Obviously that's good that there is an exhaust on it, because obviously that ticks another thing off the list that's already done. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. What do you think? Like, you know, from this angle, I think this is probably my favourite angle of the car. I think it looks real beefy from here. I do think the ducktail spoiler definitely matches the tips, but I think I want to get a nicer ducktail spoiler. I really don't like that one. And then obviously whenever I get the boot spoiler on that I showed you earlier, I think that'll be pretty cool. You obviously don't buy a 4.2 litre V8 for miles per gallon. It then exchanges from miles per gallon to smiles per gallon. You can see here we're getting 275 mile and we're just under a full tank. It's probably not going to be accurate because after a couple of flybys in Mexico, but it's saying the average miles per gallon is 10.5, 10.6 now actually, because we're driving easy. We're saying we're doing 40, 44, so who says you can't get good miles per gallon out of a 4.2 litre V8? Just depends what way you drive it. While I'm in here, I do think that we might need the aircon gassed, because I know these engines do tend to get quite hot and in the cabin can be quite warm. But even with the aircon on here now, it's quite sticky in here. Here we go. Now it's not the quickest. It's definitely not the quickest of cars, but you know, it's a heavy car. supposedly from factory to 352 brake horsepower, but considering the car is 2008, I wouldn't imagine that it's 352 brake. But we will probably have it on a dyno at some stage to test it out, see what it's making. This is the good part now. The ultimate sound check. Let's go. One more downshift for the road. We have come home and found this. Which appears to be oil, engine oil. Not good. So we might have thought the car was mechanically sound, but there seems to be a bit of a leak. Now I've checked in underneath, and I'm not really gonna know until I get the car jacked up and I get the covers in underneath off and get a closer look. I can't visually see any leak. Gasket in here, I believe, can potentially give some problems. It can kind of spill over, but I'm not seeing any signs of oil or anything there. So yeah, we're gonna have to get this jacked up and get that seen too. So we're gonna get the service stuff, and we are gonna get this thing serviced to make sure it's mechanically sound. So like I said, this car has plenty of service history, and this is all documents you have. Got loads of paperwork, all dating right back to like 2016, I believe. And then obviously we've got the service book here with every service put into it. So there's been quite a bit of work done then, to be fair. Now, this is what I said about the clutch and flywheel. They're apparently at 73,000 miles. The clutch and flywheel was done. If you listen to this, as I press my foot, I don't think that's supposed to happen. Thanks. I do think that could be like something, a release burn, or it could be a lubrication thing. Look at the most recent service, which was 83,471 miles. Oil was done, the spark plugs weren't done, air filter was done, and there was a coolant flush as well. But like I said, even though I have the service here, even just for peace of mind, I would much prefer just to do it, and then I'll know myself that it's actually done. Okay, so come on, I'll show you what we picked up so far. Obviously got oil. This car takes, I think, 8.5 litres of oil. Now I know some people do say to go 5W40 because obviously these engines tend to heat up quite quickly. I'm probably going to regularly service it anyways, so we're just going to stick with the 5W30. I was going to upgrade the air filter, but this one I'll do, so it's just a standard MAN air filter. Got a new sump bung for the oil. We have an oil filter, Holland filter, and of course the mighty spark plugs. I don't know if you know or not, but on these cars the spark plugs tend to get quite caked, and it can definitely have an effect on how the car drives, performs. So we're going to do that, and we're going to see how we go with it. Obviously I've just grabbed the basics for now, just to make sure that the car is mechanically sound and that it is fully serviced. See, we won't really know if we do need anything else until we get into the depth of it and we start stripping the car down and see what else we need. But hopefully, fingers crossed, everything is mechanically sound with it. So join us in the next episode where I get my mechanicing boots back out, and hopefully my 1.5 years of mechanicing pays off and I can remember how to service a car. But if you would like a bit of entertainment and follow along on this S5 journey, remember to subscribe, like, share, all that jazz. And as always, thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.